Hello students of class 7. This is the second video on revision video on the chapter river, and till now we have learned about the upper course of the river, and today we will take up the middle and the lower course of a river and how the river influences our social, economic and cultural life of the people. When the river descends from the mountain slope and enters a flat or a plain land. Here the flow of the river decreases, that is the speed of the river decreases, and the river starts depositing the eroded materials it was carrying from the upper course. And the main work of the river during this middle course is mainly that of transportation and deposition, but some amount of erosion also takes place. And due to this, the river develops certain landform features like that of the alluvial fan, meanders, oxbow lakes and sandbanks. First, let us learn about the alluvial fan. When the river descends from the mountain slope, its speed suddenly decreases. As a result of it, it deposits the materials, the eroded materials it is carrying at the foothill region, that is at the foothill of the mountain slope. And due to this deposition of materials, it develops a triangular fan-shaped landform which is called alluvial fan. The best example of alluvial fan is that of the Bhabur Plain. The second feature, that landform feature that we find in the middle course of a river, is that of the meanders. In the middle course, the zigzag course or the zigzag flow of a river is known as the meander. The word meander has been derived from the meanderous river of Asia Minor. Here, due to avoid the obstacles or to avoid any kind of irregularities in its path, the river flows in a serpentine, or it flows like a S-shaped way. This is known as a meander, and this meander further gives rise to another landform feature which we call the oxbow lake. Now, when this meanders become more pronounced in the middle course, that is, it takes the letter of the English letter S, we find that erosion takes place on the outer bank. Erosion takes place on the outer bank of the meandering river and deposition in its inner bank. And due to this continuous deposition and erosion of the river banks, the river is forming or flows in a loop-like manner, and that is in that second stage of the oxbow lake. And then we find that the two bends of the river, they try to approach each other, and after some time the two bends, they join together, leaving the loop behind. The loop then forms an oxbow lake, which is also known as an horseshoe lake. The Mississippi, Wangho, the Ganga, all the rivers, they form oxbow lakes in its middle course. The next feature that we find developed by a river in the middle course is that of sandbanks. Sometimes the river deposits sand, pebbles, stones, the eroded materials on the bed of the river. And this deposition of materials on the river bed forms sandbanks and islands. The Majuli Island on the Brahmaputra River is the largest river island. So these are the features that are mainly formed by the river in its middle course. Next, we will learn about the features that a river forms in its lower course. In the lower course, the flow or the speed of the river decreases further. It flows very slowly. The land is also much more flat than in the middle course, and the main work of the river is that of deposition. Due to this deposition of materials, the river develops some landform features like that of alluvial plain and floodplain, natural levees and delta. Now, we will learn one at a time. That is the alluvial plain. The deposition of materials, of eroded materials on the two sides of the river or on the two banks of the river forms plains known as alluvial plains. Again, when the river floods, the river water spreads on the two banks of the river When the river comes back to its normal level, that is when the flood water decreases, the alluvial or the silt the materials that the river was carrying is left behind on the two banks of the river, on the two sides of the river. This gives rise to a plain land which is known as the flood plain, that is a plain formed due to the flooding of the river water. These kinds of alluvial plains and flood plains are quite common in the lower course of a river. Again, we find that due to continuous deposition of materials on the two sides of the river, the two banks then naturally become higher than the two others than the adjoining sides. This raised bank of the river is known as natural levees. You can see it in the diagram, that is the raised banks of the river this is formed naturally, and so it is known as natural levees. Next, the feature that a river forms is that of a delta near its mouth. That is, when the river is approaching or was about to end its journey or fall into a sea or an ocean, there it forms a delta. That is, it deposits the materials or the sediments and develops a triangular landform which we call a alluvial landform, which we call a delta. The largest river and the largest delta in the world is found by the Ganga and the Brahmaputra river. But we have to remember that all the rivers, they do not form a delta. There are certain conditions necessary for the formation of deltas, like that the river should have a long journey so that it can carry a lot of materials or eroded materials with it. The flow of the river near its mouth should be slow that it can deposit the materials. There should not be any strong waves or waves at its mouth. If such things happen, then all the eroded materials will be washed away by the sea on the ocean waves. And if these conditions are fulfilled, then a river forms a delta. Like Amazon river, it does not form a delta at its mouth because of the speed of the river, due to the land on which it is flowing, and also insufficient sediments that the river is carrying, and the periodic ocean currents, all of which does not allow the river Amazon to form delta at its mouth. So these are the features that a river forms in its lower course. Now we know that the river is very important for us because the rivers have been the cradle of civilization. All the civilizations of the world, they have began on the banks of the river. Why? Because the river banks have fertile soil which is used by the people for agriculture. The river has been used by the people for transportation of people and goods from one place to another. The river supplies drinking water, they supply water for irrigation. Even the domestic and the industrial waste or the refuses are drained out to the rivers. The rivers also provide us hydroelectricity. Nowadays, rivers are used for such things like boat ride, then fishing, and all these kinds of activities are also quite popular on the river banks, and they have influenced our mind, thoughts and ideas, even our culture, and that is why the river has been termed as the goddess or the mother god in many countries. Like Ganga is also known as a mother god, mother river, Volga also. So these are the contributions of the river in our life. Again, we are polluting the rivers mainly when we throw the waste materials of the houses or the industries into the river. It pollutes the river water. The fertilizers that are used in the agricultural fields, they also run off to the river. All these things have polluted the rivers. Now we have to keep a check on this kind of activities of human activities so that the rivers are not polluted, because they help us in many ways, and it is up to us how we are going to preserve the water of the rivers. So we have revised the river chapter. You have to read the chapter thoroughly and then learn the question answers that have already been given to you or discussed in the class.